Yeah, like your time is passing, clear across the sky. Something all the way and replay. I remember when we met, that our dreams conceived in truth can never die. What a and the world's gonna see just how proud and beautiful you are. Yeah, set the sky on fire, fire even higher, so the angel winds inside can catch your rain. What you gonna do now? Hope you better get some pretty fucking put it down. Never leave me stand you. Tomorrow I'll respect you. Let's go, gotta make it back down. Let's go, so never be up. Just say stop when you say no. There you go again, that what you make your girlfriend. The rain when I be the cousin rockets in the industry, making this so she can't sleep. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, I just don't I just don't understand, man. I don't. Some things that's about to be told today, that's about to be unveiled, or should I say revealed. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, what's going on, man? So I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. I'm just going to put it up there for y'all. We talking about the evil lady herself. United States of America versus Ghixline Maxwell. The question is, who is Ghixline Maxwell? So before I go any further, I want to say shout out, or should I say a sad end of life have came just a few minutes ago. Former NFL player Philip Adams killed 5 people and then killed himself. I think people should look at a severe case of CTE with that. It's crazy. But shout out to what's going on. Okay. Damn. So this case is signed to Allison J. Nathan in the Southern District of New York in Foley Square. But question, Ghixline Maxwell is defendant number 1, right? You don't see no other defendants. Her name is Ghixline Maxwell, right? But here's one thing you got to look at. She's also known as what? Sealed defendant number one. Keep that in mind. Why is she known as sealed defendant number one? Why? What's going on? Why is she known as sealed defendant number one? I ask everybody to hit the like button. I got 17 people in here. Hit the like button, y'all. Sink or swim. We still gonna do us. And this case is a tricky case. Very tricky case. So I made a statement and I said something happened in the middle of the night that screwed R. Kelly case up. Nobody know what I'm talking about, but I'm telling y'all, I was the first to bring y'all Ghixline Maxwell on how she named everybody and all these companies with Lil Wayne and all them, and it even had R. Kelly in there. For people who don't know who Ghixline Maxwell is, she was the girlfriend or mistress to Jeff Epstein, who I believe never was killed, never was murdered, never murdered himself. I believe his identity was changed and they put him off in the sunset. Told him don't say nothing. However, what makes this lady so popular? Well, she's the hunter for Jeff Epstein. What do you mean by hunter, Dana? She goes out and seeks women, little girls, and they have their way with them. So what I'm about to do, I want y'all to hear this new situation. Now, mind you, Jeff Epstein's supposed to be dead, right? Listen to this.
Anthony on your podcast. Welcome to this special episode. There's a new Epstein story out that is so disgustingly despicable. We felt it necessary to separate it from our normal podcast. So appreciate you joining us for this. And let's just dive right in. Frankie C along with us as always. A lot of disgusting stories as far as Epstein goes, of course. This is by far one of the most disgusting that I've ever heard. It's a new story. It comes off a civil claim. A lot of people are still suing his estate or putting in civil claims. And this one is coming from a Jane Doe, so we don't know her name. She was 26 at the time that she had her encounters with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And here's the details of the story, Frank. So, right around the time 2008, when he was arranging his sweetheart deal with the Department of Justice, all of this was going on. And the allegations are against Epstein, Darren Indike, and Richard Kahn, who are his co-executors, Epstein's co-executors. Most of the allegations involving Epstein are pretty similar. This one stands out a little bit differently. This was all filed March 22nd. The woman being identified as Jane Doe claims that Epstein and Maxwell repeatedly raped her in front of her 8-year-old son at a hotel in Naples, Florida in early 2008, that they trafficked her to have sex with a number of other men, including an unnamed local judge, and that Epstein forced her to undergo a vaginal surgery procedure so that he could market her as a virgin to one of her high-profile clients.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, it's crazy and it's out there. She's being represented by the law firm Phillips and Palicelli in New York and Coffey Burlington based in Miami, of which Kendall Coffey is a former U.S. attorney in Miami. Requests for comment were not returned by Maxwell's longtime attorney, Laura Menninger. A video conference of the case is scheduled for 1 p.m. Thursday before a federal judge in Fort Lauderdale. Doe, identified in the claim as only a real estate broker at the time who sold properties in and around Palm Beach, said that she met Epstein and Maxwell sometime in late 2006 or early 7 at a barbecue hosted by her employer, who knew Epstein well. Doe was approximately 26 at the time, was a native of Turkey who lived in Broward County, according to the complaint. Her employer, who was not identified in the lawsuit, told her that Epstein wanted to rent or purchase a piece of real estate and that she ultimately found him a property to rent for $10,000 a month. The suit says that he paid cash, and she was directed to not identify the tenant or process Epstein's identification. Epstein expressed an interest in hiring her to work for him, and as an inducement, he gave her expensive gifts and promised to find her and her then husband a highly placed employment. The woman claims that in the middle of 2007, Maxwell, who went by the name G-Max then, took her passport for safekeeping. Doe later learned that Epstein kept it in a lockbox inside his Palm Beach estate. 6 months later, Doe, persuaded by the persistent efforts of Maxwell, agreed to consider working for Epstein. A trained hairdresser, Doe said she was hired to go to Epstein's Palm Beach mansion in 2008 to cut Epstein's hair. When she arrived, Epstein was naked. With Maxwell's assistance, he brutally raped her, according to the lawsuit. At the time, the woman recalls Epstein had guns in his possession, which were displayed to her in order to frighten and intimidate her. After the assault, Epstein allegedly gave Doe $200. There seems to be a pattern with the money. He often gave the massages to the underage girls too. He gave them money.
Like that makes it all better.
Yeah, it's a bizarre. It's a bizarre. Isn't it a bizarre? A billionaire raping girls and then feels the need to give like $200.
Like, yeah, this should cover you. Like, what do you do? What's the thought process there?
It's very strange. I don't know, but doesn't it stand out to you? It's very strange.
It is strange. I mean, this guy obviously was a gigantic evil asshole, and it kind of makes me wish that he was still around so he can face all of this. You know, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest heartbreaks of the century that he's not here to get everything he has coming to him.
Yep.
She attempted to leave after the rape, telling them that she intended to report what happened. Maxwell, in response, claimed that she had already called the police. 2 men who claimed to be police officers arrived at Epstein's mansion and threatened to arrest Doe for prostitution, to take her son away, deport her. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe there was this need to like give money because then he could always be like, I paid her. She was
a prostitute. Yeah. That doesn't make it, you know.
No, but
a prostitute can be.
You can see the twisted, deranged logic behind that.
Exactly.
Epstein and Maxwell then ordered Doe to drive with them to Doe's vehicle, picking up her son along the way. During the trip, they pulled off the side of the road to a waterway filled with alligators. Epstein then ushered the plaintiff to the body of water and told her in explicit detail that, as had happened to other women in the past, according to the pair, she would end up in this body of water to be devoured by alligators should she ever reveal what Epstein had done to her. At a hotel in Naples, over a period of days, Doe was repeatedly raped by Epstein and Maxwell in the presence of her younger son. Over the next 5 months until May of 2008, they threatened and intimidated her by emphasizing Epstein's influence over the FBI, the U.S. Office of Homeland Security's Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Florida state and local law enforcement, according to the lawsuit. The woman said that Epstein also promised to help her husband find a job with the FBI and use that incentive and others as leverage to force her to have sex with other men, including an older, heavyset man named Walter and another older man who identified himself to Doe as a local judge, according to the complaint. She was repeatedly photographed and videotaped naked, performing lewd activities during this time. Doe, who appeared much younger than 26, was told to tell clients she was 17. In May of 2008, she said Epstein forced her to have unwanted vaginal surgery, which was conducted in a wealthy person's home by a man with a Russian accent to create the false impression that she was a virgin for a high-profile client, according to the lawsuit.
feel like a lot of people, this involves a lot of people. And, you know, there's pictures and video. You know, this has to exist somewhere. And, you know, the surgery, all this stuff. I hope they, you know, are able to track all this stuff down in order to prosecute Maxwell. You can't prosecute Epstein anymore, but Maxwell, yeah.
Doe said that in April 2008, she was directed to keep a locked box for Epstein, which she was instructed she could never open or she would be killed. She was also given burner phones and other electronic devices that Epstein was seeking to hide from law enforcement authorities, the lawsuit claims. Eventually, the box and other materials were retrieved by Maxwell in 2008, according to the lawsuit. It's not clear when the alleged abuse ended. Jane Doe said she was so traumatized by the events and fearful of Epstein's power that she was too afraid for both herself and her son to notify authorities. She was also from a devout Muslim family and worried that the facts would bring great shame on her family.
Disgusting. Every time there's new evidence,
it's more and more disgusting.
It's terrible. Yeah.
But what's interesting about this time around, like you just pointed out, now you have another victim. You have her son, right? So that's something. You have other men. This Walter, whoever this judge is.
I wonder if she knows, like she could pick them out,
identify them. Yeah, and here's why this is all significant to me is this broadens that spectrum of conspiracy, not like conspiracy theory, but meaning like
the crime of conspiracy.
Right. And if there were people in the government, in the FBI, in Homeland Security, whatever, that he was alluding to here, who are those people? You know what I'm saying? Like
you got dirty cops, it seems like, right? People, those guys who showed up.
I don't even know
if they were cops.
Are cops, but there are two more people.
You got the judge, obviously dirty judge.
Right.
You got whoever performed the surgery. Right. You got all the clients and whomever. And, I mean, there's so many people that they've got to get some of them. You know, they to get all these people. In other words, Jane Doe is I don't know if she's naming them, but she's giving them, these are all the people that were involved. Something's got to stick, you know, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know, like it could be total BS that he knew people and that the FBI, you know, he could have just been saying that. But if he does.
Oh, yeah. But like the people that she interacted with, I mean.
Yeah.
Like the judge and this Walter guy and the two, whoever the cops were and whoever the clients are.
Yeah.
You know.
It would be huge if she could identify.
Right. Plus the husband, I'm sure, has some kind of, who knows, if he has any kind of knowledge of who these people were.
I wonder, because it does say then husband, so I would assume that she's no longer with them. Like, you know, when you say a local judge, like that really kind of, doesn't that, like, don't you think we should be able to pinpoint who that is?
I mean, how many judges are there in the area?
At the
I'm
time?
sure she might be able to identify on site.
Right.
You know.
Right. Like
I'm sure they're looking into all of this, and we're not, you know, coming up with this on our own. I'm sure that.
Yeah.
You know, they're way ahead of us. I'm sure.
I mean, how many judges could there be in the area? Hundreds?
Well, where is it? Florida?
1,000? Well, you know, yeah.
Yeah, and one. I mean, what's local? Is it a town, a state? I don't know. Depends on how big of a range we're talking here. I'm sure that she can somewhat give them more information than we have. You know, I'm sure there's more than what we're privy to.
Yeah. I find this interesting. Obviously, we'll keep our because I find it interesting in a perspective of, again, it leads to more of what his power and influence was and where it was, and could it lead to more people who deserve to be prosecuted alongside him and Maxwell?
Seems like there should be.
Will it lead to that? Will this young lady be able to point to specific, you know?
And I feel like, yeah,
go ahead. No, you go.
I feel like after all this, to only have, I mean, unless I'm wrong here, unless I just haven't remembered anything, but is Maxwell, there's got to be other people in custody from this whole thing. I feel like there's There's got to be dozens of people involved in this.
No,
And if Maxwell's the only one in custody,
she's the only one right now.
but all these people that have been named in these reports and whoever these customers are.
Yeah, that Jean-Luc Brunel, I think, who was over in Paris. I think I saw him. I can't remember if he was in or not, if they got him or what they were looking for. I know he was missing for a long time.
I mean, this story involves so many people, and to just have one in custody,
yeah,
is disappointing.
And we talked about this in the past, like, oh, like, you have butlers and groundskeepers and maids and all this kind of stuff. If they went, if there was some sort of a medical procedure performed in some rich person's house, you have to think that more than one person saw that encounter happen.
Right.
Whether they just saw them arriving at the house, or I don't know if you can perform a procedure like that without having other people assist you. Like that, you know what I'm saying? It feels like this. It just feels like this is a little nugget that could.
So, what y'all was just looking at was Ghixline Maxwell, along with Jeff Epstein. Y'all hearing some of the horror stories that they do or that they did. It's crazy. It's sad. We're gonna dive into something real quick, which will be this right here. Ghixline Maxwell, also known as SEAL Defendant Number 1. Now y'all heard some of the horror stories that they did. Let's look at pending counts. Count 1, conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. Conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. This right here was superseded. This was superseded twice. Coercion and enticement of a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. There's 2 counts. This right here was superseded, the same thing. This right here was superseded twice. This is the 3rd count. Conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. This right here was superseded. This was superseded twice. Coercion or enticement of minor female, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in sexual criminal activity. That's number 4. This was superseded. This was superseded twice. Charges 5 and 6, false declarations before grand jury, court, perjury. Damn. Whew. This was superseded. Sex trafficking conspiracy. This is number 5. This was superseded twice. Sex trafficking of children by force, fraud, or coercion. That was superseded twice. That's number 6. Number 7 through 8. Both of them were superseded twice. False declarations before grand jury, court, perjury. Highest offense level, felony. Terminated counts, none. Highest offense level, none. Complaints, none. They even got the interviewer name, but an intervener, I'm sorry, which is Boyd Schiller Flexner, LLP. So the plaintiff, United States of America, she have a sealed indictment with the counts. Number 2, order to unsealed indictment. Indictment unsealed. Motion to detain defendant. Arrest of Ghixline Maxwell in the United States District Court, District of New Hampshire. Letter by USA as to Ghixline Maxwell addressed to Judge Allison. But I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's crazy. It goes all the way down. I've never seen no stuff like this. Now, you see all this that I'm scrolling past, right? You see all of this. On 7/8/2020, Jeff Epstein was supposed to have been dead, right? So, what I'm going to do, because names means a lot. Now, I'm gonna ask this question. I type in the name, and I'm gonna show you. This is how you know people's identity has been switched around and stuff like that. I type in a name, Jeffrey, you see, Paglucia, right? Can y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture? Can y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture? Mainly, I'm going to tell you. Look at picture number 3. Picture number 6. Picture number 9. Picture number 16. We're going to go there first. Do y'all see anything wrong with them pictures? Do y'all see anything wrong with them pictures? Hey, G Kid. All of those pictures I just said, they all look like one person, right? But when have you ever known a person to smile that much? Which lets you know it's something off about that person. When you have a clone or you have a mask on, then it is what it is. But why do all the pictures of that man look different? Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at picture 13. Who do that look like to you? Then look at picture 14. Then go to 16 and 17. Just picture Jeff Epstein with a mask on. Then look at all the other pictures. None of the pictures look alike, except for the first set that I pointed out. Now, when you look at that, right, I'm going to take it off and I'm going to show you something. I find it funny that Jeff S. Paglucia to appear as pro hack vice, which means that he appearing as her lawyer. They get a receipt number, motion and supporting papers to be reviewed by a clerk's office and staff, document filed by Ghixline Maxwell, attachments number 1, exhibit declaration of Jeffrey S. Paglucia, exhibit certificate of good standing, text of proposed order, Jeffrey Paglucia. So why do he need to come in and file documents if he wasn't there? Or was he really there and Jeff Paglucia is now Jeff Epstein? Or was Jeff Epstein? Now watch this. Let's go to 7-9. Notice regarding pro hack vice motion. Regarding document number 15, motion for Jeffrey S. Paglucia to appear pro hack vice, filing fee $200, receipt number It give you receipt number, motion, and supporting papers to be reviewed by clerk's office and staff. The document has been reviewed and there are no deficiencies. In order for you to file motions into a high profile case, you got to have firsthand knowledge. So your firsthand knowledge wouldn't be nobody but who? Jeff Epstein. Now, I'm going to make this even better for you. Because some people like, Dana, what part do I get to R. Kelly? Easy. Y'all know that R. Kelly is put in this some kind of way. But I showed y'all the paperwork where R. Kelly's name was in Ghixline Maxwell's first orders, right? Rob don't know Ghixline Maxwell. So let's go here. Remember, their whole goal was 2 white, one color. The 2 white men that was brought up on sexual charges was who? Jeff Epstein and hold on. Yes, ma'am.
Are you doing your YouTubes? Are you?
Now, what you need me?
Yes, I need you to go to my office and help Brian because he don't know shit about no fucking computers and he don't have an iPhone and he don't know how to video.
Where you at?
I'm at home and I'm trying to I have to get these 2 invoices put in before.
All right.
Can you go there? He's at the office waiting.
All right.
Okay. Let me know when you get there.
Okay.
Are you going to be on the phone?
No, I'm gonna call you back.
Okay, bye.
Right. So Ghixline Maxwell. No, let's go back. I'm sorry, but the 2 white men and the one colored. Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly. So Weinstein is too powerful to be centered as the face, right? Epstein supposed to be dead. R. Kelly, the only one they kept living, but their whole goal was to kill him in jail. So let's go back here real quick. And as y'all heard, I got to make a run. I got a question for everybody. I'm going to scroll all the way down because this is going to be part 1 of this. Scroll all the way down. Order as to Ghixline Maxwell, the defendant's request to adjourn the arraignment on the S2 superseding indictment is granted. Docket number 194. The arraignment is rescheduled to occur on April 23rd, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. It will take place at the Daniel Patrick Mayan Courthouse, 500 Pearl Street, courtroom 24B, New York, New York. It is ordered that the parties ensure that all participants comply with the Southern District of New York's COVID-19 and related orders that govern entry into and behavior within Southern District New York courthouses. These materials may be found at, they got all that, but guess what? They have just made her court dates classified. They just made her court dates classified. Now, I'm going to show you. What does that mean? One thing, she just got locked up after Rob got locked up, right? So why do she get a court date and everything? Robert's still waiting for his. That means that this right here, that they're going to wait for the outcome of this case, and it's going to be the turning point that they're going to use against Robert. I want y'all to pay attention to what I just highlighted. What I just highlighted is simply what it says. It says Ghixline Maxwell, also known as Sealed Defendant 1. What do that mean, Dana? She will not be made public. You will not be able to go to her case, her court case. Nobody will be able to see what happens in her court case. That means she struck a deal. She's snitching on people. And check it. We will never know the outcome. Do anybody else find it ironic that her court cases comes before Rob, and Rob been locked up way before her? On top of that, Rob is at Metro, what is it, MCC in Chicago, and she's at a country club. Is it ironic that weird people with the first name of the person that's supposed to be dead, but a changed last name, is bringing in documents that they know firsthand? I just had to bring y'all that. Things that make you go, I'm going to come back with part 2. I don't know, y'all. I'm a little fishy to me. Get ready for the battle tonight. This is going down. I'll come back in a few minutes, and we're going to drop this. I'm going to take a little break, then I'll be back. All right? Thank y'all. And remember, elephants don't swat flies. Be someone important. Be yourself. You kill hate, lies, and rumors with truth, honesty, and respect. Be blessed. Dana J. Love every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Girl,